Hello! Let me check if everything is going right. Did the stream start? Yes! Okay. Hello! How's it going? Everything a-okay? I want OBS open as well as chat, please. Hell yeah. There goes chat. So today is my last stream before my streaming break. And we're gonna do commissions. Oh, there we go. And we're gonna do a Patreon's commission. Huh. Whoa, whoa. I don't know if that was a stream problem. It took a while for me to see your answers. We'll see if there's like a big delay or something. So yeah, I have 3 new active commissions. I'm trying to finish them one by one. And as you can see, this one is potato themed. Right now I'm trying to manipulate the sketch. I think it looked fine the way it did. I have a theory who commissioned that. I wonder. I wonder. Yeah, I think that balanced the whole thing a bit. But it's a fun one. I can put on a... Get to play with perspective. I don't like how that looked. At some point, I'm gonna be really good at drawing potatoes, though. Wait, I'm using my... Okay, that's... I'm using my shortcut key thing again. I kinda neglected doing so. That skill might come in handy, yeah. Though I now have to look into my shortcut for a bit. Oh, I'm in the wrong... I was in the wrong shortcut menu. I was in the one for editing videos. Now I'm in the one. Yeah! Okay. But before I started the stream, I was actually working on a new manga page. So I'm not just saying I'm gonna work on it again, I am actively working on it. Werner Herzog documentary just dropped on Prime. Yay? Woo? A woo? I just like to hear him talk. Okay, that's... I don't recognize names. Except for very few ones. Silksong was like... I think it is. It is getting a announcement, right? They haven't really announced anything yet. And Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is also announced again. And I shall keep my humble distance. Ah, the Nosferatu remake. I haven't seen that one yet. I plan to though. Maybe after that I will be interested in the documentary. Ah, the old one. I haven't seen that one yet. I have only seen the original. For university this semester, actually. Oh god. That one? Nope. Nope, that one is the one that mirrors. Okay. Oh no. Now I have to do a bunch of redos. Okay, that one is the button that creates a bunch of layers. Whoopsie daisy. You haven't even seen any because my avatar laid over that. In case the name doesn't ring a bell, chances are at some point you've heard this weird narration voice with a heavy German accent being all deep and philosophical. Oh, okay. I hope that was not loud. Okay, are you... Yes, that's the one I was looking for. Gesundheit, thank you. Hi, this is actually my English stream, but I can switch to German for a second. Was für ein Schreiber der wichtigste Skill ist. Yeah, usually write in English. I know it's weird, we're all German. But to answer the question, I can do a brief German interlude. Random question, whoa. It depends on... It kind of depends on what kind of writer you are, right? It's welche Art. Okay, Travis. Oh, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. No problem. I can answer in English though. So what kind of skill is the most important for a writer? It depends highly on what kind of a writer you are. I mean, it is weird. We're all German. Basically, they're like 3 English-speaking viewers I have. And to include them, we speak English. So do you mean like technical skill? Or in what kind of direction are you asking? And are you asking as like a writer of books and novels or a writer? Because I think it highly depends what you are writing. If you write serialized fiction, like, I don't know, a TV show, for example, you need a very different skill set, I think. And there's also the difference between day-to-day writing and, like, structural writing. So how you structure a narrative. So it's really hard to pick something. I'm thinking. I'm thinking. Intensely thinking about this. I guess for me it would be the ability to bring your characters to life. Though that's not necessarily important if you're like a plot-heavy writer. And also to not just... I think this is a layered question. The biggest skill is writing, of course, duh. I guess for me, it is important that you know what you are saying when you write. Like, not just on the pure literal meaning, but like thematically, what your message, what your statement is that you try to share with the world. That combined with making it seem like your characters are actually like living people who are deciding for themselves rather than just puppets for a, you know, writer. Like for me, I'm a fan of character driven. I'm a strong character development, world building, theme kind of gal. I am not that much into crazy plot structures, I guess. I mean, you could probably tell after all the times that I complained about Attack on Titan and stuff. Like, the reason why I am not enjoying that kind of story is because A, the characters don't really feel like people a lot of the time. More like a caricature of people. They don't really feel that alive to me. And I just plain don't like them. That's the second thing. And I feel like I write one-shot mangas, but I believe all kinds of meme has some similarities. But yeah, this is a good tip from you. Thank you. Yeah. But you see, as a one-shot writer, I think you have a very different need, because basically what a one-shot needs to do is to tell pointed stories. In a very short amount of time, right? Yeah, all kinds of medium do have similarities that I agree on, but you know, someone who's great at writing long winding narratives can really suck at writing short stories. I don't necessarily believe that there's like the one skill that defines a good writer. I guess to have a solid understanding where to go is also a thing. Like a gut feeling, you might say. And I guess flexibility is also important. And okay, now I'm coming up with a lot of stuff. You could also say that it's important to be able to accept when something does not work. Right? And to be able to, like, people say kill your darlings, and they often mean like your favorite characters and stuff, and I think that's a misrepresentation. I think it's more important in terms of ideas. You need to be able to let go of a concept if it clearly does not work, or if your story is not going that way. With short stories, you don't really have that, but with serialized fiction, like a very long manga, when your characters and your story depart from your original plan, you cannot just railroad them into that. You have to be able to be flexible and be like, okay, I have to kind of twist things around because obviously that's not the story that I'm telling right now. Stuff like that. And then there's stuff like broadening your horizon, experiencing things. Don't always write the same. There were a lot of things that are important for writers to have. And I mean, then there's like, you know, just technical skill. Be able to write well, know words, know how people talk, know how to describe stuff without describing too little or too much. Know what to show and what not to show. Does something actually move the story forward, or are you just indulging yourself? If yes, is the indulgence worth it or not? Like the writing part for my manga, for example, which is a long form story, which I hate that I'm doing that. I shouldn't do that as the first thing, but I mean, here we go. For the very long format, what I have is I have a outline. I know where I'm roughly going to go, but I'm leaving a lot of room. And what for me is the hardest is actually the beginning. Like, one of the reasons why I'm struggling right now so hard, aside from not having enough time, blah blah blah, is that I feel like, as a person who puts a lot of importance on like first chapters, first episodes, how those can and will kind of set the mood and will kind of tell people right from the beginning if this might be for them. It's kind of destroying me because I have all this work done. I have all this world building. I know my characters. And now I have to get the start right. I cannot tell too much information. I cannot tell too little information. And I need to kind of constantly check with myself, okay, what is the right time to introduce this or that aspect of a world building? And also, because I don't have a lot of time, how much can I shortcut into the good stuff? Because most people don't have the patience for a long build-up. So I kind of need to be faster and show less than what I would originally would have liked to. That's why I have a co-writer who then tells me, hey, why don't you shortcut this or that for now and jump in, like, get the story going first, and then you can still pick up. A wizard tells exactly how much he intends to tell, never too little, never too much, yeah. Yeah, you tell too little, and then the audience does not understand your setting, obviously, or misses, like, key aspects. Hello. You go and tell too much, they get overloaded and get tired of it anyway. It's a potato. This looks way better than expected. For just being a pedestal with a potato on it, I am kind of bamboozled. So I think for me, what's going to be my challenge is to get the first 10 chapters going. And I think after that, it will start to kind of organically build upon each other. Also, I need to get better at backgrounds. Because if I get better at backgrounds, I can have more environmental storytelling happening, which can maybe lift a bit of the weight. Like, I don't need to thank you. I don't need to tell people that, okay, because the people in that district are poor, they kind of have a DIY culture going on. They are very resourceful. It's very communal and stuff like that. I don't need to actually tell my readers if I can just show it in the way of a close work, the way the community is structured, stuff like that. For that, I would need to get better at environmental design. And like, if I had a background designer, a background artist, I would be able to already have that because I know what in theory needs to be done. Like, I could tell someone how they should draw the things that I'm drawing. I cannot do it myself that well. Ooh, the music jump scared me there. It depends also where we write our stories. Hobby mangaka have more freedom than mangaka for published, but otherwise pro mangaka has more resources. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of why I'm trying to get my mind straight and not worry too much about my lack of skills because I'm independent. I stopped calling myself a hobby mangaka, just branding wise and image wise. I moved on to the independent label. But I'm no pro yet. Maybe at some point in my life I will get to that. But I have yet to reach that level. But that said, I'm kind of like, okay. First and foremost, there are some professional mangaka where their first chapters don't look that great. Or the applications they send to the publishers. Again, I will always say, look at Attack on Titan's one shot that got sent to the publishers. I do not clown on Shonen Jump for not picking that guy up. Blessed be the editor who looked at it and rightfully saw potential in there. But yeah, I looked at it and I was like, holy. Or like even like the original Mob Psycho manga, even though I would argue that that one has a really good feeling for visual storytelling. On the technical level, it could be better. So I'm kind of trying to get into the mindset of, okay, I am one person. This is not my main job. It's not even my second job. It's like the thing I do on the side. I cannot have the standards I would have when I would do this full time if I had the time to improve. If I were already more experienced and stuff. I just have to create it. It can improve over time. I can improve over time. It's fine. The first chapters might look very rough, but I will find my style. I will find my way. And before we can even blink, it will look like 10 times better. I can already tell that drawing on a regular basis is improving my skill. So woe is me. I shall not despair. I just have to be patient. And even if at some point I decide, okay, I'm not ready yet, there's no shame. But I'm pretty convinced that and also yeah, I have a lot more control and freedom than I would have. I don't even know if a German publisher would offer to pick me up if I would agree. Because they cannot really offer what a like big publisher in Japan could offer. Because we don't have the infrastructure for like assistance and stuff. Because the way they would get me is to be like, hey, you will get a background artist. You will get someone you can plan the stuff with, and they will fill in the blanks. Oh boy, I think that would make me sign. But the fact that then I would get deadlines, and depending on the publisher, wouldn't have full creative control would kinda put me off. And I don't have something against an editor. To make that clear. But I want to be the person who has the last word. Or, you know, at least equal influence. And to be able to kind of talk it out and be like, no, I cannot do this. Yes, I want to do that. You cannot make me stop to do this or that. I think the perspective doesn't check 110% out, but I like it. Huh? Yeah, I should probably look into traditional manga drawing as well. Because I think I would learn stuff that I could then apply in digital work, probably. I mean, I don't mean like filling in blacks and applying tones. I don't think that would be for me. I am such a clumsy person when it comes to any kind of like crafting and stuff, and I think that applies to applying tones. Right? Witched Atelier is... Look, that's for me a perfect 10 out of 10 story. I cannot wait for the next volume to get out in Germany. It has so many good elements. Oh boy. Like it touches right into stuff that I very, very like. Um I'm trying to think what it reminds me of that I love it that much. I don't know a thing about it except for amazing book covers. It's also amazing book contents. You have to kind of vibe with stories that are teeny tiny bit slower and a bit more vibey, I guess. The magic system is amazing. I really love the characters. I love how progressive the story is, but in a like sincere way, in a genuine way where I'm like, this is storytelling from the heart. The way it introduces all the different kinds of struggles and writes the characters, it's amazing. Okay, I'll now do a bit of laziness. Yeah. Need to figure out how I want the lighting to go. I like the magic system and also how the whole rule system clashes with people's morals. Yeah, that's the good stuff. Okay, I think we... Hmm. Like, that's a hard recommendation for me. Yeah, I think this kind of translates the vibe, the vibe, the vibe. No, no, I cannot say the word. Oh no, my mouth is cringing. The vibe. Yeah, that's the vibe I was going for. There, I found the word again. Wipe. I don't know what happened there. Okay. What does the commissioner say? I went before I started the stream. I went in the kitchen and got some water. I think I left it in the kitchen, or I might never got it. Wooey! Parts of the Jazz Undertale soundtrack sound like Sims. Now that I heard it, I can never unhear it. Damn it. Okay, then I shall proceed. That's not the right brown for a potato. I think a potato has more of an orangish. Yeah, that's the stuff. What color do I... give the altar? I guess like silver, white-ish with gold on it. I think I'm going for like emeralds. for the... Whoop. For me, as important as a writer is to observe. We make a better person because it doesn't matter what kind of stories we write. We all have our own way to convey our visions. Yeah. I think I agree. I'll see if I like the green elements or if I will turn them gold as well. I mean, I'm definitely more a fan of like positive story writing, like a positive, optimistic worldview. I don't really like stories that are only dreadful. Like even stories that are like in a post-apocalypse and depict like the worst of human behavior. There still needs to be a spark and a perspective that understands that no, not every human is a monster. That kind of storytelling just tires me at this point. Like, I mean, my story as well is like in a post-apocalypse and in a very oppressive system. But my point is not gonna be people bad or some people less bad. I think that's very, I don't know. I'm skeptical of that kind of worldview. Like, ooh, our nature as humans is to think of ourselves first. What a mature way. Not to say there are not bad people. There are bad people in this world, obviously. I don't think people start off like that, or it's like an inevitability. Or that even the majority of people are selfish. Not to say the majority is selfless. Also, what I think is very important, I thought about this, nothing is original, but your perspective is unique. I think that's a very important thing to remember, that even if, say, your premise ends up being very similar to a news story that you read, and you're like, oh, that's kind of like in my manga. Oh. Only you can tell the story in the way that you do. As long as you don't outright copy someone, which I mean might happen. As long as you don't do that, you shall not worry about that. Someone will connect to your perspective and your story. And you can only know if that will happen once you wrote it. Or drawn it, or whatever. I mean, with my manga, my first goal is to, like, just draw a manga that entertains people. And maybe sometimes makes them feel something. Everything that comes on top is like a bonus achievement. And if it inspires someone to do something, even better. Woo. Nope. 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 Okay, there we go. That concerned me. Yeah, that's too green. hell? Okay, the rest is going to happen through lighting. And coloring. And layering. Also, I will kind of play with the wall. Something like this. I just checked. The Witch anime will be directed by Ayumu Watanabe, who previously directed anime like After the Rain, Kumi Can Communicate, Summertime Rendering, and Children of the Sea. Oh. That sounds promising, at least. So the reason why I do this kind of vibe check is because I have a... What do you think about writing tutorials? I'm conflicted about that because they show some great tips, but otherwise the don't make this mistake mentality is not very helpful because writing is not math. Yeah, I don't really... I don't know, I'm not a very structured person when it comes to writing. I think it's neat to know what a 3-act structure is as an orientation. And you know, just to make the usual experiences in writing, like, okay, don't do these, like, bad fanfiction tropes. But for example, your characters have to have flaws kind of narrative never made sense to me because I'm like, of course they have flaws. Why wouldn't a character have a flaw? Right? Or weakness or something like that. And basically... Thank you! Glad to hear that, even though my manga is not that far in yet. The growing. We're getting there. Also, for every, like, don't do this, you can basically pick an example where it works and you're like, yeah, but except if you do it like this, then you can do that. And you know, two people can do the exact same things, but because their execution is different, one works and the other doesn't, so yeah. I think there are some general rules, like show don't tell, which doesn't work in, like, non-visual writing as well. Like, it still applies, but it has a very different meaning. I think concepts like those are useful, but beyond that, I think it's just practice and feedback and reflecting and practice and doing and, you know, to kind of find your voice. Like, the only reason I feel comfortable going into a long-form manga right now is because I basically wrote stories all my life. Of course, not finished ones. But I had like 1,000 headcanons and 1,000 little small comics that had like scenes picked out. I I structured already a lot. Also can be interesting to break. Yeah, if you like purposefully break them. Then the breaking of rules can be very, very interesting. Like subverting stuff. That's the only reason why I'm comfortable starting the manga right now. I never executed the stories though, so I'll see what I will learn through doing that finally. I just need to do more. But I mean, like I said, I started doing the next page before I started the stream, so... Hopefully. And after the first chapter is finished, I will translate it to English. If I get an English community, I'm so sad for them because they will not get the page by page updates and they will have to wait an eternity for new pages. I'm already so sorry for them. But you know, good things take time. I mean, maybe something wild happens. I win a lot of money and then I can full-time do the manga. Oh, that would be that would be wild. And you know, you cannot plan on winning a lot of money. Also, to be fair, I'm always like, oh, I haven't finished the first chapter, but my first chapter is like 60 pages long, which is basically 3 chapters. After that, it will progress faster. But yeah, in order to like... I would really like to improve my drawing and my writing further. But I haven't yet really figured out the time and space to do that. Like, I would need to read more manga to also, like, get more references in both departments. Do a few one-shots, maybe. I've been thinking about doing, like... I mean, I've been thinking about it for a long time. But, doing, like, small comics. Like, one-offs. In the same universe. And just, you know, to already tell even more stories about the characters and the world. Like, talking about speed and shonen is completely decoupled from everything else. I really don't know what it means. Speed and shonen? Like, publishing speed? I know, Trigon and Kekai Sensei. My list is very long. And my heart is very heavy. But yeah, what do you mean with like speed in publishing? Or I mean, Shonen got very speedy recently. Too speedy for my taste. Like, Jujutsu Kaisen is too fast-paced for me. Like, people like that about it, and I hate the fact that it's so fast. Like, for me, shonen-wise, Naruto, before, like, it derailed into the World War, had, like, a very crisp and nice pace. Like, the first chapter, it's just my lack of knowledge. I haven't read any Naruto, Dragon Ball, Fairy Tail, Image, Arrow, so the only thing is basically Hunter x Hunter. And then the shorter ones like Attack on Titan. I mean, Naruto has like a very nice pacing as a manga. We don't talk about the anime. Like, the first chapter of Naruto is a peak first shonen chapter. With Dragon Ball, I have to reread it. But yeah, people have no, like, patience for the beginnings of stories anymore. Like, people say that the beginning of Bleach is bad. I really like the speed of Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. Season 1 started slow. The thing, like, immediately jumps into action. I mean, speed... I mean, okay. Let's be real, right? Speed is not necessarily my problem. I love Kill la Kill. Look, Kill la Kill is my favorite anime of all time. And that thing starts off with, like, a bombastic speed. I really like Panty and Stocking, and that thing is, like... like, zoomy as hell. I think it very much depends on the story that you tell. But Jujutsu Kaisen doesn't take enough time for the build-up, in my opinion. It's like immediately bam, 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 and no, like... It doesn't invest the time to make me care about its characters. Like, it kinda takes for granted that I'm interested in what is happening, in my opinion. It never builds up my interest in at any part. I can just recommend, if you're a German speaker, to check out I don't know if I'm getting... did I get to the TV part? I am talking about the first episodes. Basically, the first episode already lost me because his motivation is like very unclear, and we like his grandfather dies, and it doesn't really get any attention. He's like sad for a second, and then shit goes down. And I don't know. I cannot really remember it. I think I probably I made my points on Barker's Jujutsu Kaisen podcast, where I was part of. I think in there I made my points. I cannot make them anymore because I cannot remember Jujutsu Kaisen. My brain tends to delete. The problem is that was tutorial scare and intentionally new writers. I believe a writing is first and foremost a spiritual medium. Effective art is standing in my opinion. Yeah, the thing is, I am also more on the writing is a vibe kind of person. But that's also because my writing works like that. Like, people are like, okay, you go and you make a list of, like, your 10-dimensional character. You have, like, 2-dimensional characters, and then they have, like, 2 characteristics, and then you have 4 character, like, people kind of make lists for their characters and their personalities and stuff like that, and I don't work like that. I mean, if you ask me to, I can deconstruct my characters. You can be like, okay, Katta, please tell me what Hanaka is like as a person, and I can verbalize that, but I don't have a list of Hanaka's personality traits on my desk when I write her. I become Hanaka. I'm kind of method acting her in a very abstract way. I get into her mindset, and then it's Hanaka. I know how she would react in almost any situation. If I don't immediately know it, if it's like a very complex thing and she could have multiple responses, I have to kind of get, like, thinking about that. But generally speaking, I can just be, okay, she's like that. I just do it. I am figuring out as I go, and I really like doing small comics and stuff and very short dialogue exchanges to figure a character out in opposition to having a list of traits. And I feel that's a way more organic way of writing characters. So in that regard, I am very spiritual, I guess, about my writing. That said, I also have a very analytic approach to stories and narratives when I read them. Like, I am very keen to analyze themes, to analyze structure, to see, okay, how are things interacting with each other. And I think that's a pretty good way to build up your writing skill if you observe stories you read critically, but with your own writing you are just kinda building blocks you learned organically into them. That wasn't a full English correct grammatical sentence, blah blah blah. But I hope I got my vibe off. I've yet to watch any episode. Don't be in a hurry. I think it's overhyped. People are not gonna agree with that, but I only vibed really with 2 characters and with... His name is Gojo, right? I was so disappointed how early his face reveal is. I am so primed through Kakashi that thing has to be like a mysterium for the ages. Like, it's a joke. You don't know how his fucking eyes look. It has to be a thing that has a lot of suspense to it. And it happens so early. And then he's just pretty. And I'm like, Kakashi Hatake had the decency to, like, only show one of his eyes, but never his face. And that's infinitely better than whatever that was. I really did. I cannot remember a lot of things. It's just my dislike of Jujutsu Kaisen is vibe based at this point, but yeah. It felt like the idea of a shonen, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really into the character designs, honestly. I don't feel their outfits. That's tough to say for me who cannot design outfits, but yeah. I love Demon Slayer. I love Demon Slayer. That's for me the antithesis to my complaints. I really like Demon Slayer. I like that it's just, you know, it's just a shonen. It's just a stable, nice shonen. I like the characters. I vibe with the messaging and with the time period they use to set everything in. I love the arts. Like with Demon Slayer critique, I am Demon Slayer is amazing. You're allowed to hate it, for whatever reason, but I really like it. I mean, we all have our pet peeves. You can like. I like Zenitsu. I kinda like how annoying he is, but I completely understand if he's a show killer. I completely understand. That's a valid reason to not be able to like go for the rest. I hated him first as well, and then I was like, oh, I kinda like that I hate him. Tanjiro and Deku are like the same category of wholesome shonen protagonist for me. Good for you. So much Evolve's paid. 50 euros for 2 cinema tickets, lol. I don't blame you, as long as you don't hate it for the wrong reasons. Without context, that kinda sounds bad. I mean the crowd who's like, I don't know, hating Tanjiro for being a good person. Talking about that kind of hate. There are people like that. I think we're getting into the time where I need to do a My Hero Academia retrospective. I think it's time. I have to reread the entire thing and then talk about my interesting relationship. I haven't really noticed a drop in quality with Demon Slayer, or even like in my taste for these seasons. I kind of like them all. After, I think it's kind of it took me some time to completely get into it. Hello. My Hero Academia. Well, let's say anyone that enjoys Deku and Tanjiro will have a great time with Kekai Sensen because Leonardo Watch has similar qualities. Ooh. But I will die on the hill that Bakugo is the best character in My Hero Academia. And to anyone who says he cannot be redeemed or that he cannot atone for himself because he bullied someone when he was 15, I will just point to the sign that says Vegeta did multiple genocides. I will just point to that sign and close my case, okay? I don't care if people think he's annoying. He is. That's why I like him. He's an angry little gremlin. I enjoyed every time he got kicked in his face and had to pick himself up again. He turned out to be a great man. He's the one who has, like, the most build-up character arc. He almost finishes his character arc too much in comparison to other characters. And it's a hill I will die on. But did Vegeta bully someone? I mean, probably. Yeah, I get why you like Mirko. She's a great character as well. Timokivici can't be redeemed, Van. Simple as Van. Really someone you're forever ever a bad person. And just to make clear, I don't say you have to forgive your bullies. I haven't forgiven mine. I just say in a fictional story, we can build up some distance and realize that people can change and they shouldn't be defined by what they did when they were 15. Because if we would define each other by that, we would all probably lose that definition. I kinda liked it more when I haven't started coloring it in. I was very scared that my story was too similar to My Hero Academia, but I think I successfully changed everything and merged with so many other inspirations that you can just say, okay, she read My Hero Academia, and that's not a secret, so. I liked it more before coloring mood. I mean, that's not usually my mood. Usually I very, very much enjoy the coloration process and think it upgrades my pictures. But right now, the illustration is in the awkward phase, I'd say. I think I did not choose the right color for the shadows. That might be it. Oh, my boyfriend is making food. I can hear him chop away with the knife. The stream will end once I get food. And then there's Trigun, where Knives, as a kid, did some really fucked up shit he carried into his adulthood. If American you saw Trigun Stampede, so you should get the gist of it. Yep. I do. That's a bit better. I don't know. I think it's weird to judge people for liking bad guys in media. I'm not as much a villain enjoyer anymore, but I used to be. I still do. I like villains that get redeemed, I guess. I mean, Spike from Buffy is like my I don't even know what he is. He is something. The blueprint. It depends on how and what. Yeah. I mean, there are cases where I think it's weird, sure. But as long as as the person doesn't like be like, oh, I'm okay if people do stuff like this in real life, and it's something different. Well, I personally have never enjoyed a villain. I've made a really great husband material. All I say is Kylo Ren. Case closed. Internet burns. I mean, in the end of Vader changed. Okay, he got the memo or something. Doesn't help his wife and his kids and the world, but you know, at some point he got it, and they can learn. Ben's Rolo. Ah, if only the last movie did not suck. Now I don't care about Star Wars anymore. Because you cannot ever convince me to explore Star Wars beyond the movies. I'm sorry. And I really don't like I don't like Disney right now. In general. Doesn't depend what it is, really. Which makes me really sad. As well. I mean, it was always a corporation. It would always been a corporation, but they didn't have to be this. They didn't have to be. But we have Andor now to love. Haven't seen it. Will never do. Also, oversaturation for 10,000 shows. Yeah. I mean, Andor supposedly is good. I don't know, man. I have anime to watch and manga to read. Call me when a good film drops. Where no one is related to anyone from previous installments, please. Ah, that would be wild. I'm too busy watching almost nothing. I mean, that's basically what I said. But if I would start watching something, I would watch something different. Still have to read stuff. I mean, the Star Wars collections I watched, at least the first one. The second one I started, but something got in the way. Okay, I can feel I'm getting less patient with the coloring. I think I should stop here. Otherwise I'm gonna speed run it and then it doesn't look as good. See, getting there. Will not take an entire year to finish this. Ow! See, this worked well. Woo! After this, another Potato Fiend one, and then I can get to Lenny's. Yeah, that's the next one. Potato. So many potato products. Food? I see a baguette. Oh no. I saw a potato. Real life model, real life reference. Let's go. Tefta. Tefta. Okay, guys. I mean, it's fitting the playlist ended as well right now. Potato-tastic. As I said, I will take a streaming break. I posted on YouTube and I think on Discord as well. I will have a break to, like, you know, do boring stuff like finishing videos, finishing an essay for university. Hey, the playlist started again. Stuff like that. I will be back at a point of time that I have to look up and I have to click through the Discord from September the 17th. I wrote that the wrong way around. Kartoffel, Potato, koch sie, tut sie in die Suppe, stampft sie, das war das zweite Wort. Yeah. I will be back then, hopefully, recovered, healthy, hyper, something. We will then continue working on the manga on stream, probably. If I haven't finished the commissions, maybe, we will do that. Until then, take care. I will be still active on all my social media, on the Discord. It still should be linked on this channel. We have a English-speaking Discord with one German channel. You can reach out to me on Blue Sky, on Instagram, on Discord, anywhere where you can find me. You can find my manga on Animex and stuff. Have nice weeks. Take care of yourself. Maybe I'll see you at the Konichi. Who knows? Until then, see you later.